So while I was out in nature praying and talking to God, he gave me this revelation that helped me so much in overcoming all types of sin. But during the revelation, he used Minecraft mobs to make it more simple and easy to understand. It literally taught me how to overcome certain temptations. And so I was thinking, like, why not make a video on this? Because I'm already making gaming videos. Now I was going to do a part 2 to Fortnite, but I feel like God put it on my heart to do this, so here I am. So in this video, I'll be telling you how you can overcome sins using Minecraft mobs. And if you don't understand how this is gonna work, let me show you right quick. But before we get into the video, I want to give a quick shout out to my school community. Because if you're someone struggling with any of these temptations, lust, or just even growing closer to Christ in general, then I know joining my school community will help you tremendously. And later on in this month, I am going to be hosting a call that's going to help you overcome lust. So make sure you join that. It's completely free, by the way. And also, here's a couple messages just showing you that this community is a game changer. Christian says, yes, I've seen a change. I've started reading the Bible more. Don't fall into temptation every day. Thank God and well, I feel better, honestly, with more joy. And Jacob also says the course has been great. I've definitely grown this month since I've been here. I really appreciate that you take time out to give us these courses for free. That's nothing in return. Shout out this community too. Bunch of great people in here selflessly helping each other grow. This is what Jesus wanted from his followers. Definitely, I personally feel like now I'm on a different level with Christ than I was before. I feel secure in my faith now and on the right path. Thanks for this, my brother. So yeah, these are not my words. These are people from my community. So what are you waiting on? Join the family today. So how this is going to work is I'm going to pick a mob to describe a temptation. And the first mob I'm starting with is a creeper. And this is going to be representing temptation in general. Because if you know what a creeper is a silent monster that blows up anytime it gets close. And if you're not paying attention, it will destroy anything that comes in its way, including your house. And temptation is the same way no matter what temptation it is. All temptation is here to do is to destroy you and your temple. It's meant to keep you away from God. And if you're not paying attention to your relationship with God and you start slacking off, then the enemy will come in like a roaring lion. 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 8 tells us, be sober minded, be watchful. Your enemy, the devil, is prowling around like a roaring lion seeking for someone to devour. So make sure you're always staying close to God, because as long as you are paying attention, you'll always be ready for the enemy's schemes. Now, obviously that wasn't a specific temptation or sin. And so we're going to actually get into the specific sins now. And the first one we're going to be talking about is fear. And the mob we're going to be comparing that to is a skeleton. Now, a skeleton is just a mob that uses a bow to try to kill you. And these are probably one of the most annoying mobs, in my opinion, because they attack from far away. And honestly, this is probably one of the best mobs out there that kill you the most. And it's crazy because it's the same thing with fear. Fear will keep you away from God's calling. It will keep you away from the godly relationship that you want because you're too scared to approach the person. It will keep you away from finances because you're scared to start a business and take risk. And so yes, fear is something that we must overcome as a follower of Christ. Well, then you have to ask yourself, how can you win this battle against fear? Well, many of us try to fight fear like this. Yeah, did you catch it? Instead of attacking fear, we allow fear to attack us. We try to stay as far away from what we're scared of instead of actually attacking. And that causes the sin of procrastination. Yes, procrastination is a sin. So yes, that's why it's so important that you don't let fear take control of your actions. Because if you do, you're going to end up keep getting attacked and it's going to keep you away from your calling. Now, the correct way to deal with fear is to face it, attack it whenever it comes. When you feel any type of fear, make sure that you attack it, because fear did not come from the Lord. And when you attack it, that's when you will be able to win that battle. 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7 tells us, for God didn't give us a spirit of fear, but of power and love and a sound mind. So therefore, you have to ask yourself, any time that I'm getting scared to go and take action on something, what is that feeling coming from? Is that coming from God or is it coming from the devil? And I'm not talking about like being scared or getting jump scared. I'm talking about being anxious about starting something. So now that you know that it's from the devil, make sure that you attack it anytime that it comes near you. Because if you don't, it will destroy you and your calling. And the next temptation we're going to be going over is actually from a cave. Now, if you know, whenever you go into a cave in Minecraft, you're there for one reason, and that's to get armor. Not just armor, but like material like iron, diamond, and gold and things like that. And when you go in the cave, there's these little things. They're actually pretty annoying to me, but they are bats. Now, to this day, I still don't know why bats are in the game because all they literally do is make some noises and fly around. When you kill them, they literally have no reward to them. So even if you spend a second on it, it's a waste of time unless you just find it satisfying to kill them. And so I can kind of compare this mob to distractions because they keep you away from the reason why you are here. And honestly, if you pay attention to them too much, they can lead you into even more danger, just like distraction. Because for example, I spent a little bit too much time trying to kill this bat and look what happened. Yeah, led me straight into the fire. And I kid you not, distractions will do the exact same thing. Distractions are literally only to keep you away from doing your purpose. And if you pay attention to distractions too long, it's going to lead you into sin. It will keep you away from your relationship with God. It will make you continue to go back into lust. And ultimately, it will destroy your calling. And so yeah, moral of the story, do not pay attention to distractions. Because if you do, you're going to end up wasting your time and probably getting yourself into some trouble that you don't even want to do. And the beauty of it is when you stop paying attention to distractions, you actually win the prize. You start walking in your calling, you start fulfilling the purpose that God has for you. And honestly, God will bless you for that. But if you continue to sit around focusing too much on distraction, then you'll continue to procrastinate and not be able to fulfill the things that God has for you and get the blessings that God has for you. So yeah, keep your eyes off of distractions and keep your eyes on the prize. So now we're down to the last two, and now we're going to be entering into a whole nother world. Now, if you've never heard of the Nether is like the Minecraft hell. It's fire everywhere. It's like just like a whole nother dimension. Just let me go in right quick. Hold up. All right, now we're in here. And as you can see, it's red everywhere, no light. It's kind of representing hell. Now, if you don't know, hell is going to be much worse than this. I promise you. But what I have right in front of me are, well, you can call them the homies, because they chill. They don't really do nothing. But in Minecraft, they're called pigmen. As you can see, their face look like pigs, and they're just like built like a man. And what these mobs are going to represent today is greed. Because if you ever had a friend that is jealous of the things that you have and tries to take it from you, well, these are those guys. Because as soon as I opened the chest, they started to attack me. Because that's exactly what they do. They see that you have something valuable and they want to take it. And if you're not careful, you're going to be just like these pigmen. Now, you may not attack someone physically. Like, you might not want to throw hands every time you see someone succeed. But you may want to attack them spiritually by hating. Because greed can cause envying. And when you envy others, you start to hate on them. You start talking down on people instead of trying to love them. And this was part of the reason why the religious leaders didn't want Jesus to be God. Because they had greed in their heart. They wanted to be like the highest. They wanted to be the highest status. And now that Jesus took over and he was the highest status, they wanted to kill him. And they couldn't believe he was God because they were too busy worrying about their pride and their greed. So yeah, being greedy can really block your blessing if you're not careful. And obviously the way to overcome being greedy is being content. Not only being content, but focusing on what you already have. And not flexing and showing other people, but just being humble and submitting under God. Because I would not be in this situation if I didn't open that chest in front of them. Because of course, if you're trying to please other people, then you're going to be more likely to be greedy. Because you want to be the best out of everybody. But if you just focus on what God has for you, and being content and grateful for what you have, then there will be no room for greed to attack. So, yeah. And for the last and final temptation we're going to be going over. This temptation has destroyed kings and causes many people to be in bondage for years. Something that I personally used to struggle with. And it's probably one of the hardest temptations for people to overcome. And that temptation is lust. Now, what better way is there to compare lust than to the Ender Dragon? And if you don't know what the Ender Dragon is one of the hardest mobs to kill. As you can see, it's literally flying after me right now. But it's also the last and final mob. Or you can call it monster. Mob and monster are the same thing. But it's the last mob that you have to kill in order to beat the game. Now, I'm not just going to compare lust to just the dragon. I'm also going to be comparing it to these little tall things right here. Because if you don't know what these things are, they're Endermen. And as you can see, Endermen don't really attack you. That's unless you accidentally look at them in their eyes. And I promise you, once you look at lust in his eyes, I promise you, you're not winning that battle. The desires are way too strong for you to beat. Jesus even says this in Matthew chapter 5, verse 28. It says, whoever looks at a woman with lust has already committed adultery in the heart. And many of us try to take lust head on. What does that look like? That means we try to look at things that are, sexual. Maybe too much social media, or we try to flirt around with somebody. and we don't set boundaries for ourselves. Now, if you get like a lustful thought or something like that, you may be able to overcome like one lustful desire. But when you start looking with lust with too many things, then that is when the battle gets really, really hard. And obviously, you can't fight everybody. You cannot win this battle without setting boundaries for yourself and not looking at lust. Because the more you try to fight, the harder it becomes. Because there is so many ways that the enemy can attack you, especially in this day and age where there's like pornography, there's dating apps, there's sexual games. It's like everything's sexualized now. And so, yeah, if you don't set boundaries for yourself, you're going to end up just like this. You're going to end up spiritually dead. Now, the way to overcome lust is simply by running from it. Do not look at anyone with lust. As soon as you win that battle in the mind and rebuke those evil thoughts that you get, sexual thoughts telling you to give in one more time, you stop looking too long at those posts and you start actually replacing that with Christ. That's important. When you remove the root cause, you're also supposed to replace it, because if you don't, it's just going to end up growing right back. So make sure you're replacing that bad fruit with Christ and continue to flee from that lustful temptation. So yeah, if you want to win this battle against lust, this is exactly how. You have to flee from it. You have to not look at it. You have to not test it. Run as far away from it as possible. And when you do that, that is when you'll be able to win the battle against lust. So yes, these are the 5 temptations and the ways to overcome them. Hope this video was a game changer for you, a blessing for you. And I hope you enjoyed the Minecraft in the back. And yes, this is part 2 to my gaming series. So if you want to see more like this, make sure you leave a like and a comment. And if you want to support, the link is down below. If not, till next time, as usual, y'all stay blessed.